Let's talk about being God, because this is a conversation that fundamentally is the foundation of my message, my teachings, what and all that I have learned throughout my 20 plus years of studying spirituality, religion, metaphysics, all things related to consciousness. Let's start with this one thing. This isn't about me being God and claiming that I am God. My message is about you being God. You being the God of your reality, the creator of everything that you experience. And this is grounded in consciousness, your consciousness. You see, when you think about it, your consciousness, which is ultimately your perspective, your point of view, is the only thing that you can absolutely, without a doubt, prove is real and is the foundation of everything that you experience. Everything starts with you. The moment that you are born, the experiences you had, everything from your beliefs, your thoughts, your feelings, your ideas about religion, spirituality, God, politics, relationships, parenting, all of these things begin from the point of view of your consciousness. Your consciousness is the foundation, is the absolute, is the essence of who you are. And though your consciousness is a spark, is a glimpse, is a piece of the grand consciousness, what we understand as the vast universe, the source, also identified as God, we, though, are a piece of that. And when you get into the reality that your consciousness is everything that you are, everything from which you experience and see things, you then begin to understand that your consciousness is the lens by which you experience the world, the lens by which you create your world. Whether God exists outside of you or not, it doesn't matter, because if you are not there to experience it, if your consciousness cannot experience it, therefore, from your point of view, it doesn't exist. And this is beginning the groundwork of understanding your godness in all of this. You see, this isn't about acknowledging that you are God from the place of ego. When we talk about being God, we are talking about absolute accountability. We're talking about fully owning the fact that you, yourself, can take full responsibility over yourself, your life, and everything you experience. You see, that is the basics. That is where we need to start. In order to go to a place of possibly creating, solar systems and galaxies and suns and stars, we first need to understand the basics of this work, the basics of really taking responsibility for ourselves. Instead of using our ego to manipulate this concept that we've been taught about what God is, we need to get truly into who we are, the basics of God. In order to do that, you have to really contemplate your point of view and how significant it is. We've been taught to not think so much about the power of our reality, the power of our perception, our consciousness. It is the beginning, it is the groundwork, it is the start and the end of everything that you are to experience, of everything that is. And this is where we begin to unfold and realize the God within you. So let's get into this idea of who you are, how powerful you are, how significant you are. And with teachings like manifestation, law of attraction, law of assumption, this idea that we can create the things, the basic things that we need to survive on this planet in a way that is abundant and fulfilling, then we can begin to take the next steps, but also growing into the reality of you being God. Diving deep into the teachings of manifestation, materialization is very important for you because it is going to allow you to take ownership of who you are. But first, it's also interesting to think about your belief systems. Think about your idea of God And this isn't to discredit your idea of God and say that it isn't true, that it isn't valid. Understand that it is first based on your perspective, on your perception. This is not to say that your ideas about God is false. Understand that your role in your idea about God is more profound and more important than you think. So I invite you simply to just think about your relationship with your ideas about God, with your beliefs about God. Don't just make your belief about God absolute without acknowledging the major contributing factor of that belief, which is you. Once you begin to understand the connection between your perception, your consciousness, and how you think about God, it begins to shift exactly how you think about yourself in relationship to God. And then you begin to understand the connection between you and this idea of God. Really own the possibilities of expanding on how you define God, expanding on how you define self and consciousness. When you do, you will begin to have a better relationship with not only yourself, but with your idea of God. And those two things become one ultimately. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. Peace and abundance always.